Machinations. Machinations. This is one that we really need to understand and really need to come to grips with. Machinations. Meaning what? Meaning what? Israel. We need to take a closer look at machinations. We're going to get an understanding on what machinations is about and find out what it all is. Why? Because we have to take a close look of our own closet. We have to look at ourselves. We have to look at ourselves. Meaning what? We are confederate with others against our own people, and many times confederate with our own people against our people. Machinations. Meaning what? Meaning what? We plot, we cheat, we scheme, we plan with others to take out our own people. And it's like the house Negro when one is in the field and runs and notifies his master the plan of the field Negro's escape. Machinations. See, it comes out of many times and we try to escape from the loss of limbs and beatings and all this, and this is what happened. In fact, the one in power, machination kicks in many of us, meaning we will plot, we will try and design ploys for the one that's in the position to replace them in the power that they sits in today. See, this was done way back then and done many times today. Machinations against our own people, against ourselves because of sin. And some of us see a person as some and see what they have, and then we desire to have what they have. Machinations, sin, meaning breaking on the Most High law of God. And when we break the Most High God laws, is what? With machinations. Meaning what? That we covet. And we need to dig into this and find out what is happening, because the Bible says, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Machinations. Machinations. So what we got to find out is we cannot do these things, but we do them. We cannot do it, but we do them. It's that you should not covet, you should not be desiring someone's wife. Machinations. So you make ploys and different designs to do them in, to where you think you're going to get what they have. All my friends today, it's going to be real close, because we have many people who desire things that belong to other people. Israel, we have a problem. Machinations is within our group, and it's telling you, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Welcome to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I'm Elder Michael Johnson, and we're going to identify a serious issue. Back then and today. Machination. People being confederate once against his own neighbor of his own neighbor. Many times against another nation, but to covet against our own, and how this looks then and how it looks today. This is what we need to do. We got to look at the machinations. Understand what is happening. Because what do it say? And we have to understand clearly. It says, for this, thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not commit adultery, which is part of coveting. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. That is deep. Because what do? We commit adultery. We commit adultery, wanting something that belongs to someone else. Many times we will kill for the desire to have what we seek. We'll steal if we love our neighbor. Would you? Because then you're saying you wouldn't, but you do. Meaning what? You'll commit adultery. You'll steal the one possessions because that's what you desire. See, which you will commit another offense, you'll bear false witness. Meaning you'll make personal testimonies against someone that is not true. Because you desire what that person you are committing imaginations against. See, you lying when one say, and then you say you love your brother as yourself. See, it's not true. See, this is why we get into these things, and we have to understand exactly what is happening. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. Meaning what? See, love shouldn't hurt. Love shouldn't kill or bear false witness. See, openly making personal opinions of someone to show alliance to another. Think about this. I want you to truly understand this. That truly happened. That truly happened. We have Black Wall Street. Many of us knows about Black Wall Street. And I'll give you a brief understanding on this Black Wall Street. Because this happened in our nation. We cannot sit there and pinpoint single things, but we got to pinpoint things that happen to our nation. Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was told a lie about a white woman, Sarah Page, told on this black kid. His name is Dick Rawlins. In our entire nation, not all black people in the world, but that nation that was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they did everything possible to destroy them completely. They was dropping bombs on Tulsa, Oklahoma, in there and killing our people. Shooting them, throwing them back in. But imaginations is so strong, they'll make movies about anything, but they will not make movies about that. They will not touch this. Why? Imaginations. We're going to dig into this. See, they'll make movies about anything else. Who? Your Tyler Perry's. Your Oprah Winfrey's. They not only can have the power to make them, but they even have movie studios to do them. Imaginations. See, however, we will show, do they love their neighbor? No. But do they love that money stream? Yeah. Negroes with benefits. Negroes with benefits. See, one who wants to make you laugh and what he want to do, and you have another one to, based on your ignorance and make statements, even go so far and depend on a strong support that there are many ways to God. Money affect the thoughts, judgment, and power due just to you. See, it gives you ownership with no conscience. This is the problem. And that knowing the time that's now is high, time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation near, then when we believed. Knowing these laws of the Most High God and seeing our eyes are open, what will you do with your salvation? Many think and look up to people sinful lives as virtues other than sin. Other than sin. They have sinful lives. And we desire them. You have stars and that's Israel. And they do everything under the sun. And we look up to them. And we look up to them. We're going to take a close look and see what we do. We have to see what we do. This is the problem. And the best thing we want to do is, oh, well, pray for me. You know you're doing it. You covet. Machinations. It came a time when people do these things, and we're going to look at an exact example. Machinations was happening back then. And it came to pass after the year has expired, at the time when the kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab, his nephew, and his servants. Keep this in mind. His servants in all Israel. And they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still in Jerusalem. So as they did these things, David hung out in Jerusalem. But get this. And it came to pass in the evening tide, David arose from his bed, and he walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof, he saw a woman washing herself. He go up on the roof and he see this woman washing herself. And you're going to find out some things today that you didn't know that he did. And he knew. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon. She was naked, 1, and he liked what he saw, 2. So David rose and went up on the roof, see this woman doing what she doing. He looked, and if he seen it, and if he was the man that he was saying he was at the time, he could have turned around and walked off. But we're going to find out how machinations work. And we're going to use David, a man after God's own heart, to understand that people tried to work off his insecurities and they try to use them as virtues. Don't get caught up and try to do what David did, because David was secure at the end, but people look at what David did and think that they can do those things because their heart was always set on evil. And David wasn't like that. David got caught up. But people look at, oh, David can sleep with all these people and he's good. But I'm going to do the same thing and I'm good. But you ain't David. So David sent to inquire of her. See, this is what he did. This is what David did. And David sent to inquire of the woman, and one said, is not this Bathsheba the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? Did you catch it? Did you catch it? Let's look at this again, and then we're going to catch it. David sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, one is not there. one is italicized and was put there for clarification. So what the one said, and so when David sent the inquiry, it wasn't someone else said, it was said, so it says, and David sent and inquired after the woman and said. That's all it's saying. And one, who? David. So it's saying, and said, is not this Bathsheba the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? Meaning what? I know you caught it, but we're going to clear it out. He already knew who the woman was. Not only that, he know who daughter she belonged to, and he know who she's married to. So it ain't like she's a stranger. That's the problem. Is not this the daughter of Eliam? David know her dang daddy. Why? Because he's a servant. It tells you that in verse 1. David sent Joab, his servant, he sent Joab and his servant, who Uriah is one of them. And he know Bathsheba. Isn't this Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? He knew exactly who she was and know who she's married to. But MakəઃnāSHən kicked in. This is what we do. This is what we do. So David sent messengers and took her. And she came in unto him, and he laid with her. And she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. We're going to break this down, and I'm going to give you the understanding of what they did. Because they thinking, oh, she was unclean because she laid with him. That wasn't the issue. And why it's saying uncleanness. So we're going to find out why it's saying it in the format that it's saying. See, he sent messengers, and they're nothing more but one man, because we're going to find out what happened. And he gave unto her a verbal or a written notice of an invitation, is what he did. He sent messengers. And this was not a command for her to come to David. See, now it's getting a little bit closer. So she knew where she was, and she knew he probably seen her. And saying these were not soldiers. See, these was messengers. They wasn't soldiers. B. And she went, and what happened? She went, and what happened? David lay with her, and she conceived then. Being what? She conceived. So then this is the problem. She being purified from her uncleanness. You get your pencil and paper, you write this down. You get your pencil and paper and you write this down. Because I want to make sure you understand what is going on, and you always understand this. So her uncleanness was her time in being purified. In the same example, where we're going to look at this in Leviticus, if a woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all her days of the issue of her uncleanness is what she stopped having. It shall be as the days of her separation, she be unclean. So she was purified from her uncleanness. She stopped having her menstrual cycles. That's what happened. She was purified from her uncleanness. Means she conceived. She got pregnant. Because once the woman is pregnant, she stopped having those cycles. Are you following me? See, I know that this hitting a little bit closer now. So we need to find out what went on and what happened. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, which it did, is an adulterer. And the adulteress shall surely be put to death. But David was a king. David was a king. So she conceived something. She conceived a man's child. Let's look at this. And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. Clearly telling you. Clearly telling you. She conceived another man, child, purified. Her husband is in battle, and she over here laying with the king. And then she get caught up with a child. And he devised the scheme, machinations. He devised the scheme, covet. Devised the scheme, lust of the flesh. He devised the scheme, machinations. And if he can successfully pull this off, Bathsheba's husband, it would appear to him that he is the father. Machination. So he gonna straighten it out while her husband is in battle. So what happened? And David sent to Joab saying, send me Uriah the Hittite, and Joab sent Uriah to David. Because King David said, I got to straighten this out. He know the mama. He know the daddy. He even know who her husband is. So David sent, and he returned him from the battle to find out what's going on. So out of everything's happening, out of everything going on, all this fighting they doing, he go get one man and told him, bring him to me. I need him to come talk to me. And it went on, and when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did and how the people did and how the war prospered. You see this? He gonna talk to Uriah, call himself, he gonna have him to check his nephew Joab. Hey, how did and how is Joab doing? And how is the people doing? And how are we prospering in the war? Uriah is a soldier trying to put a check on David's nephew, Joab. A setup. A setup. But it gets on better. And David said to Uriah, after he got this stuff, the information he didn't really want, David said to Uriah, go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king. I'm not going to break out, but I know most people can already break that down. And there followed him a mess of meat from the king. So he told Uriah to go down and wash his feet. And Uriah left, but it didn't turn out what David wanted. Because if you're going to go down there to your wife, because you have a lot of people sitting there talking about wash your feet, talking about that means to go into your wife, and that's the biggest crock of lying that you ever want to see. But he wanted him to go down and wash his feet, be purified, and then go into your house. Technically, that's all he was saying. However, David thought that it was going to work out. Because now his scheme, he's saying, okay, I'm going to pull him out of the war. I'm going to have him go talk to him for a minute, and then I'm going to send him down to his wife. I know when he sees his wife, I know he's going to want to be intimate with his wife. After everything going, I know he's going to be intimate with his wife. He's going to have an intimate relations with his wife. I know this. But his scheme wasn't working. Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house. David's scheme wasn't working. David then got Uriah's wife pregnant Bathsheba, he sent for Uriah to come home, telling him how's everything going. Why he didn't call his nephew? He gonna call Uriah. Out of all the Israelites out there fighting, he called Uriah. He calls Uriah. But anyway, he goes on and he knew he slept with his wife, so he said, "I'm gonna call him out. Hey, how is Joab doing?" He gonna tell a servant to check Joab. How is Joab doing? And then he said, "Well, go on down to your house and this." And Uriah didn't go. Uriah slept at the door of the king. He slept in where the servants sleep. And what happened? And when they told David, told him what? Uriah went not down to his house. I know David said, "What?" Didn't go down to his house. Uriah didn't go to his wife. And David said to Uriah, "Cometh thou not from thy journey? Why then doest thou not go down unto thy house?" Man, I don't want to tell you, but dude, you need to go down to your house. Uriah, dude, why you didn't go down there? He can't tell him, man, you gotta find wife. He can't say this. Excuse me, he can't say that. But he can say, "Man, why you didn't go down to your house?" He wanted to know why. He wanted to know why. And Uriah answered him. He said, "The ark. The ark." Talking about his heart. Just letting you know. But he goes on, "In Israel and Judah abide in tents. In my Lord Joab," because that's his leader out there, "and the servants of my Lord are encamped in open fields. In the open fields. Shall I then go unto my house and eat and drink?" And now he's telling what he would have did. "And lie with my wife?" King, you think I should do that in my boys is out there at war? Man, Israel out there, man. And I'm going to be sitting here laying with my wife, pleasuring my flesh, and my Israel is out there, the ark. I can't do that. It's the ark, man. It's my heart. It's the way my heart is. It's the ark. And they're abiding in tents, and I can go down there, and I know I see her. If he's thinking, man, I know, I haven't been intimate with my wife, so I know as soon as I go down there, that's the first thing we're going to do. So I didn't go down there. I didn't go. I can't do that. "As thou livest, and as thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing." I can't do this. Even his Lord Joab, the servant in the open field, I can't do that because I know they're out there. So I can't lie with my wife in Judah, and I know all these people out there to pleasure myself. I can't do that. I love them too much. I love my neighbor. If I pleasure myself, they need to be able to do the same. If I can lie with my wife, they need to be able to lie with their wives. But since they can't, the heart, I'm with my brother. I got to love my brother as I love myself. I can't sit there and lie with my wife and go out there and say, "Hey, man, I lied with my wife and I thought about y'all." Are you following me? These are the things that went on. And it went on. And David said to Uriah, "Tarry here this day." So David got to do a little bit more of a plot. Machinations. He got to do more of a plot because it's some issues going on. So he said, "Tarry here. Go on and hang out here because I gotta do you, man. Because I'm gonna tell you, your wife is pregnant and you don't need to know. And I need to make her think and need to make everybody think that you the daddy. And tomorrow I will let thee depart." So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and tomorrow. So he said, "Okay, I'm going to send him back." So before he sent him back, David said that, "So before I send you back, We gonna have a going away party. We gonna kick it. We gonna kick it, and we gonna have a little bit of a going away party, my brother. Cause I called you, and I need to see how Joab doing. I ain't gonna call Joab, but I'm gonna call you. You special. You special. So David had called him, and he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. David made him drunk. I know people sitting there like, David, I know we got some old sisters here. David, boy, now I should whoop that boy. David did this. David was trying to get out and try to correct something underhandedly. I got brothers saying there, said, boy, now that was my son. I just take him, just whoop his butt. I get it. But David got him drunk, and at even he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his Lord. He was drunk, but he's sitting there, hey, my heart is with Israel, and my boys is out there. I'm not going to lay with my wife. I'm not even going to see her. They don't see their wife, so why should I see mine? That's the heart of this man. He was a Hittite. But it gets better. But went not down to his house. Got drunk and would not go down and lie with his wife. Because if he can get him drunk, I already know David could have sent some people, hey, you better make sure you lay. You better make sure, you would talk about, you make sure you lay with him. So I can get the fix in. But he laid with the servants. Means just going to sleep. He just slept what they slept. So David see this wasn't working. Man, this dude, he gonna expose me. So it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab. Now catch this. Catch this real close. And sent it by the hands of Uriah. Why you saying, why are you focusing on that so much? If he wrote a letter and it is not in the envelope, he wrote a letter and he sent it by the hands of Uriah. Did Uriah read it? Shouldn't you think about that? Do you think Uriah would read it? Think about it. Did Uriah read the letter? That's what we got to think about. See, but which says a few things. See, Uriah didn't read the letter, or he could not read himself. However, Uriah was given the letter to give to Joab. He was given the letter to give to Joab. Meaning what? And he wrote the letter saying, set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. David. He put Uriah in the front where all the hottest part of the battle is, where the biggest party running, and then withdraw from him, but leave him up there. David. We looking at the letter right there. All past, and he wrote in the letter, remove all that, and saying, move all that there. Just leave all that there. That ain't in the letter. The letter says right here, set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. That's what the letter said. That's what the letter said. That is what the letter said. Put him up there and do this thing to him. This is what the problem is. And it gets even better. You're going to put him up there so he can be killed. Behind what? Behind something David and Bathsheba did. So since he didn't lay with his wife, David want to kill him. Because he didn't lay with his wife. He's going to be killed because he didn't pleasure his flesh. You think about that. Think about that real close. And it came to pass when Joab observed the city that he had assigned Uriah unto the place where he knew that valiant men were. That was the problem. See, because valiant men was there. And it was a certain place where those men were. So Uriah, he gonna do whatever Joab tell him. So Uriah, where the strongest enemy soldiers were. And he stationed him right there. Stationed him right there. Stationed him right there. Meaning what? What happened? And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab, and there fell some of the people of the servants of David. So some of them servants, where he put them at, some of the men got taken out. Servants of David. And Uriah the Hittite died also. So Uriah got killed also. Because those valiant men was there. You got some of them dudes on the other side, they wasn't no joke. But even though they wasn't nothing to be played with over there, he put Uriah over there, but he said, once you get Uriah there, retire. Retire, move back, and let this man be up there by himself. You see it right there. Look at verse 15. Put him in the forefront of the hottest battle and retire you from him, that he be smitten. Then move back and let him get taken out. Because I need him dead. So Uriah the Hamite, later, he died. So later Joab sent a letter and told David. So he sent to told David. He sent a letter, but he sent to told David concerning this war. He had to send him a letter concerning this war. And then Joab told David the things concerning this war. And then he says this. In the charge, the messenger saying, when thou hast made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king. Meaning what? Concerning the letter that Joab wrote to him. So he's going to tell the king what went on. This is what went on. And if so be that the king's wrath arise. And he said unto thee, wherefore approach ye so nigh unto the city where ye did fight. When ye did fight. Knew ye not that they would not shoot from the wall? We didn't know they were going to shoot from the wall. So he had to keep the lie going. Meaning what? All he's talking about is they had arrows. They had born arrows. They didn't know they were going to shoot from the wall. And then when he's talking about the rise from the king, he was telling them, when he said, it be so that thy wrath arise, meaning the source of the attention. That's why he's saying that. So if it be that the king wrath arise, the source of this attention is why we're writing this. I'm sending you this message. And when we approached the area, they was nigh to the city, and however, they didn't know that they were going to be shooting arrows on the wall. They didn't know this. They didn't know what was going to go down. Meaning what? And David wrote letters saying, set Uriah in the forefront of the highest battle and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. Put Uriah up there and then kick back. who smote Abimelech, the son of Jerubbesheth, did not a woman cast a piece of a milestone upon him, upon the wall, that he died in Thebes? Why went ye nigh to the wall? Then say thou, thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Are you kidding me? And David gonna be shocked? David wanted him dead. David was expecting such a message anyway. Then the messengers tell David he prevailed. He told them he prevailed. He tell them he prevailed. But he goes on more. So the messengers went and came and showed David all that Joab had sent him for. The men shooting arrows off the wall and killed some of the men. But guess what? The main part we needed was Uriah is dead. Why? Machinations. Machinations. Machinations did this. Plotting. He plotted to make sure that this happened. All because to David he sinned because Uriah wouldn't lay with his wife. And he killed him to cover a lie. But it gets better. It gets better. And the messenger said unto David, surely the man prevailed against us and came out unto us and us into the field, and they were upon them even until the entering of the gate. So he's kind of telling him what's kind of going on. And then it gets even more. Then it says, in the shooters, those dudes shooting those arrows, from off the wall upon thy servants, and some of the king's servants be dead. And thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. And your boy got hit. And your boy got hit. Meaning what? And when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah, her husband, was dead, she mourned for her husband. Really? What's she mourning for? Why is she mourning? She was pleasuring herself with the king. But when she heard it, she mourned. However, when the mourning passed, David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife and bare him a son. But the thing that David did, that David had done, displeased, the same one is displeased with us, the Most High, Yahweh. It displeased the Most High. It's telling you right here. The thing he done, he gonna sit there, lie with the man's wife until she became purified. Means she conceived from her uncleanness. So she conceived to where she wouldn't have the cycle, because during this time of pregnancy, you will not have a cycle. And then David needed to cover this up, so he gonna tell them, go get me this man, and I'm gonna sit there and tell him a couple of things and go lie with his wife, and he don't do it. So since he didn't do it, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill you for not lying with your wife. Why? Because I need to lie to work to say that this is your child. Machinations. And the first thing that we do know, thou shalt not kill. And what did David do? He designed the plot to have Bathsheba's husband killed because he got her pregnant. Uriah did nothing, absolutely nothing to David. But David lusted after his wife of the flesh, and he slept with her, and she conceived, and David had him killed because he wouldn't sleep with his wife, so the lie wouldn't work if once she become pregnant, because the first thing he would say, he come back from battle, what you doing pregnant? Hey, how you get pregnant? How did you get pregnant? So David said, it's the easy way to do this. I'm going to knock him off. Thou shalt not kill. Key thing. And what happened? Thou shalt not commit adultery. Wow. You should not commit adultery. Now, what worse? David knew her, her daddy, and the husband. People saying, well, no, he didn't really know it. And David sent and inquired of the woman, and one said, remember, one is italicized, it's not there. And it said, and he inquired of the woman and said, is not this Bathsheba the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? Really? He knew who she was from the beginning. Is not this her? Is not this the woman? Machination says kicked in. It had kicked in, and it gets more. Who smote Abimelech? See, in what happened, they made sure that he died. That servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Clear disobedience. Clear disobedience. This is so clear disobedience. Unreal. It even says this. For first, she disobeyed the law of the Most High. And secondly, she trespassed against her own husband. She sinned against her own husband. And thirdly, she played the whore in adultery. No, you shouldn't say that's disrespectful. That's the Bible saying that. And brought children by another man. Did not Bathsheba do this? Did not Bathsheba do this? Transgress against her own husband. And the Bible tells you, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto Yahweh. Why? Own. Own. This is the problem today. This is the problem today. We have women out there seeing me, oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind. Please. And it says submit yourselves. Meaning what? Giving the governance of authority as unto Yahweh, meaning what? Your husband's supposed to have governance and authority over your body. Submit yourselves unto your husband. And you got women refuse to do that. And they said, no, it shouldn't. But the same thing for the men. But the main thing is, women won't do this. Because the Bible says, wherefore, when you come into the world, he says, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body thou hast prepared me. Because he's going to rest to that body. So if you're going to prepare your body for him, he said, submit yourself unto Yahweh. So you got to submit yourself to your husband in the same manner. Do the same thing. And they'll say, no, I'm not going to hold it. So guess what? So you're a transgressor of the law. It's clear as day. Man, same for the man. It doesn't matter. But we just looking at it, folks, because it's saying wives. But the wife sitting there, he's not doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing today. Yeah, guess what? You just transgressed the law. You just transgressed the law. I don't care how you flip it, script it out, whatever. Well, I did something. Doesn't matter. You transgressed the law. If he wanted to lie with you that night and you said no, you just transgressed when you toned him down. And you say you love the Lord, that's proof that you don't. This is why people sit there, well, now that's his interpretation. No, ain't no interpretation. That's fact. Why? Submit yourselves unto your own husband as unto the Lord. Why? Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he said, sacrifice or offering, thou wouldest not, but a body thou hast prepared me. The same way you going to prepare your body for him and not do anything for him to rest in there, you got to be doing the same thing to your husband. It's clear. Crystal. So, what is the problem? We play the harlot. We play the whore. We let other people rest in our bodies. So thirdly, we played a whore in adultery and brought forth children by another man. Men, you think it's something else. But many men brought forth, even women, brought forth children from another woman. And then you think you cool and you was just being just as much as a fool as anybody else. Thinking it's cool. You playing David. You playing David. You got to remember. You got to remember what the Lord said. You're getting caught up. So what did David do to his own people? See, it don't matter what we doing, but he tells you plain as day from the beginning. Don't do these imaginations. Meaning what? Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Full stop. Period. And what do we do? He seen Bathsheba, and what did he do? Don't cover thy brother's house or his wife, meaning to desire her, even his manservant, which Uriah was David's servant. But what was he doing? David was walking in the flesh, machinations for the flesh. You will kill, you will steal, you will destroy to satisfy the flesh. We live in the flesh today, but war and covet for it all day long. This is what we do and think nothing about it. This is what we do and think nothing about it. Why? For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. Why? Because we're not to do it. Don't be walking around in the flesh. But we do. Why? Because we covet. We want something else somebody else have. This is what we do as a nation. Why? Men want to covet someone else's wife. You got men even want to covet someone else's husband. What? Dang, what? Elder John said, yeah. Some men want to covet because they want your husband. Even the very thing doing so, and then you have even these LGBT groups saying they worshiping the same God you do, and you don't. Because God is against that. God is against it. Meaning what? Homosexuality, being sodomites. Man laying with man, woman laying with woman. Homosexuality, being a sodomite, is against God. And then you got women sit there and see another man's wife and you desire her and you want to lay with her. So most women sacrifice their bodies to get to this woman, and then so that the man of her husband go into her so she can pleasure herself with the woman. And then the man think he getting the deal because he got two women. Confusion. Confusion. This is what we do. We don't sit there and think anything different than what we're doing. Because we think it's okay. And it's not. We sit there and say, well, he made us this way. So if I desire this man, and this man is even married, but I desire him, and I'm a man, I'm good. What God are you serving? Because you're not serving the one in this Bible. You must have wrote your own Bible because that one might allow you to do it. But I know if a man lie with mankind as he lied with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination, something that is most hated by the God, that shall surely, he said, it ain't no chance possible way out of it, surely be put to death. And their blood should be upon them. He said, and this is going to be upon you. What is it saying? Elder, break this down. Okay, break it down real simple. Let's look at past the colon. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Meaning what? Once they know what they're doing is wrong, you ain't even got to tell them. Oh, they ain't got to tell them? No, you ain't got to tell them. You ain't got to sit there and preach like that. You ain't got to tell them that. Because they already know they don't supposed to be doing it. We got monkeys, birds, animals not doing nothing what we do, and they know how to sit there. It's a female bird, it's a male bird. It's a female monkey, it's a male monkey. Female fish, male fish. Everybody know what to do. We supposed to have all the logic in the world, and we so crazy and silly. We sitting there, we gonna lie with another man and we're a man. We gonna lie with another woman and we're a woman. And then we want to say we got more intelligence than an animal. Are you serious? Are you serious? This is what we do. This is what we do. So we have to understand why we do this thing. And he's telling us one thing, that we gonna lie with another man. You got brothers out there coveting over someone's husband. And they call it, oh, we on the down low. You on the down low? That's craziness. This is craziness. And they think it's cool. And it's more so, even us, we'll support TV shows that push this covetousness. We'll support it. You'll watch it. Well, it's entertaining because you're agreeing to it. Thinking, let's do a threesome. The husband being with two, same thing. Think it's cool. You came with one private part. They were meant the way it was, not to be having these threesomes, having more private parts to give pleasure. So then, to give pleasure, you made other private parts and turned them into pleasure parts. What? You have one pleasure part and you done turn the other part that's just for something else, you done turn that into a pleasure part. Yeah, I can't believe you said. This is the silliness that we have gotten to. Because we want to covet over someone else's husband, and being a man, the only way you can go into a man is one way. Only one way. The woman will sit there and then I'm going to have two pleasure parts. I'm going to have two pleasure parts that they can deal with. Are you serious? Homosexuality. And then you're going to do machinations over another man. And he's married. This is the problem. This is the problem. In the 38th year, Azariah, king of Judah, did Zechariah, the son of Jeroboam, reign over Israel in Samaria 6 months. Why am I showing this? Because I'm going to show you another example what we are about. And we need to get this straight. We need to get this straight. We need to sit here and be able to talk and be open. That we have a problem. And our problem is not with some other man. Our problem is with the Most High. The one who can destroy the body and the soul, and we worried about what a man does. This is the craziness that we have gotten down to. So why is this? Because I'm going to show you machinations kicks in. It kicks in. How? And he did which was evil, and he was standing as a king, which was evil in the sight of Yahweh, as his father had done. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. Because how you gonna make Israel sin? Because they looking even up to you. So when people seeing Israel acting in this manner, your children are going to see it, and you're going to see the sin, and they're going to think it's okay, and they're going to stay in the sin. So what that mean? You got two women who sitting there talking about, I'm married. You're not married. And you sit there and bring a child into the world by having yourself go into a man, or you go to the grocery store and you get an egg to have it planted in you by the grocery store owner, and then you bring the child into the world, and then the child got two mamas. Are you kidding me? You making Israel continue to sin. Because you're going to tell it's okay. Tell me you ain't. You going to tell them it's okay. Men do it too. Men will sit there and have two of them, and they'll sit there and bring a child. They can't do it that way, so they go adopt a child, or they go get a woman to have the child, and then the two men have it. And I don't know if they one calling one mama, one calling one dad. I don't know what they're doing. But it's confusion to the child, and you return the child. Because why is confusion? Because the children not going to sit there and rationalize in their face, because all they seen all their life as they growing up is two men, and they laying with each other as a man lay with a woman, and they sitting there, and in their eyes it's going to be okay, even though they might sit there and they might desire women. They're going to think still that homosexuality, being a sodomite, is cool. They're going to think being a sodomite is cool. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I got two parents just like that. Oh, it's cool. You made Israel sin. Because they're going to think it's okay. They're going to think that it's cool to do this. And it's not. This is the problem. But watch what happened here, because machinations kicks in. And Shalom, the son of Japheth, conspired. He conspired machinations against him and smote him before the people and slew him and reigned in his stead. Covet, machinations kicks in. Shalom, the son of Japheth. What is this saying? Oh, we're going to find out some things today, folks. We're going to find out some things today. We're going to learn something here today, and we got to learn all this together. We're going to walk and we're going to get this understanding today. He wanted the position of that king. And many have a problem locating this. Why? I'm going to show you why. But a lot of people have a problem showing this here, because watch what happens. Let's see, watch this. It says, in the rest of the acts of Zechariah, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. Meaning what? The information on Zechariah, much of it was in the book of the Chronicles. However, what about Shalom? What about Shalom? What about him? Because he the one that took him out. This is what we're getting into. And this was the word of Yahweh, which he spake unto Jehu. What did he say? Saying, thy sons shall sit on the throne of Israel until the fourth generation. And so it came to pass. Really? Yes. When the Most High says something, it's going to come to pass. See, most people don't even understand that. See, when he says something, so you see in the book, it's going to come to pass. But still, what about Shalom? What about Shalom? We got to find out something. We got to find out something here, because it tells you still here. And it says, Shalom, the son of Jabash, began to reign in the 9th and 30th year of Uzziah, king of Judah, and he reigned in a full month in Samaria. So Uzziah was down there. Shalom, the son of Japheth, began to reign. But what's the problem with this? It has a lot. See, it also gets into the same thing. What am I saying? So it says, for Mahiam, the son of Gadig, went up to Tharza. He came to Samaria. And he did what? And he smote Shalom, the son of Jabesh, in Samaria, and slew it and reigned in his stead. We got Israel killing Israel to get in these positions. Israel killing Israel to get in these positions of power. Machinations. They plot. Because it tells you about the conspiracy. It tells you that Shalom conspired to do what he did. How do we know? I'm going to re-show you this, because we know what we're talking about when we're looking at this as a whole, because don't sit there and try to make them seem as if they're innocent. These are put here for our learning. And it tells you, for the rest of the acts of Shalom, in his conspiracy was made, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. And you can't find it. I guarantee you can't find it. It's a reason why. It's a reason why. But we're going to find out today why. This is why it's so important. This is a caveat. This is a caveat. Get your pencil, and I want you to write this down. But write it down, please. It's a couple of books I want you to get. Get your pencil, get your paper, and I want you to write them down. And I want you to get this. The first book, if you don't have it, get a King James Bible with the Apocrypha. Put one, King James Bible, or put KJVA. Just do that for me. The second book I want you to get is a King James Bible with the Apocrypha. Just put KJVA. And one more book I want you to get. This is one of the best ones to get. And you can look. You might have to order it, but I want you to get it. I want you to get a King James Bible with the Apocrypha. Do a favor for Elder Johnson. Just do that. Just do that. And you'll never go wrong. Because this here, Shilem did a conspiracy. Why? He coveted. And we can't find it. But Shilem, the son of Jabesh, here's why you can't find it. Because you'll go in all these other books, but we see for the example on what's going to go on. So we need to see examples on what happened. And it says, and he shall be great, and shall be called the Son of the Highest. And the Lord God shall give unto him, who? The one who's talking about the Son of the Highest. Unto him the throne of his father David. You know this talking about Yahushua. Why are you saying his father David? Why are the angels saying this and they saying this other stuff? But why am I showing this? Why am I showing this? Because this is a doctrine of fools. He's declaring something and putting and going to give the throne to his father David. So it says the seed of God. They want to pump to you theology and tell you about these immaculate conception theories, which they can call it immaculate conception. Immaculate conception. So we broke this down and we even went into where we can pull it to where you can see it. Immaculate. Immaculate. It tells you perfectly clean, neat, tidy, unsauced, ultra clean. They even use ultra clean, spotless, pure, undefiled. But you see at the bottom right there, you see it says theology in the Roman Catholic Church, free from sin. I want you to pay attention to that. Pay close attention to what we're showing you. Why? Because it's important. It's important. But it goes on more. So this is immaculate. So we want to understand what conception means. Conception is an act of conceiving a child being conceived. Fertilization, pregnancy, insemination. Meaning what? Is no way possible where you're going to tell anyone immaculate conception, and they saying that the Most High put the seed in Mary, is telling you right here, fertilization, insemination, so impregnation. He did this. And if that's his child, that makes him to where when we get there, we're going to say, hey, Most High, it's cool being here, but bro, once we get here, we have to stone you. You see the silliness. Are you seeing the silliness? But it gets even better. It gets even better because the Immaculate Conception, it tells you right here. It's telling you right here. Immaculate Conception, a Christian theology. Theology. These are theories. But it's an Immaculate Conception. The Virgin Mary free from original sin by virtue in marriage of her son, Jesus Christ. The Catholic Church teaches that God acted upon Mary in the first moment of her conception, keeping her immaculate. I don't care what camp, what place, ever you go, if they telling you this, This is a Roman Catholic theology. They're telling you this. They don't have to cover themselves. They're telling you as plain as day. Even on the other one, a Christian theology, Immaculate Conception, came from the Roman Catholic, teaches that. This is the problem. It's a method to this. This is the problem. And it tells you, key, a Christian. Where do it come from? Cretans. Cretan, a stupid person. Tells you that. Look at it right there. Hold up. What you doing talking about? No. Look right at the bottom. Late 18th century from French Cretan, from Swiss French Cretan, Christian. All that came from that. What? Cretan. That's all Cretan is saying. Christian. That's all they're saying. What Christian saying? That's why he said, you almost made me become a Christian. You almost made me become stupid. I'm telling you right there. It's right there in front of you. You can sit and say whatever you want. You can get upset as much as you want. It's not going to change. It's not going to change this. He will be called declaring something, and then he's going to be given the throne of his father David. But they're using the word immaculate conception with something you cannot find even in the Bible. But immaculate meaning that this clean, spotless, and pure, undefiled, and guess what? You see the silliness that they did. Conception, meaning the act of conceiving a child, fertilization, impregnation. This is Christian theology. God impregnating Mary. I don't care how you put it, how you dress this up. It's still going to come out the same. So what do this have to do with Shiloh? Everything. But he was a king. Okay, but it has everything to do with it. Why? It's the same as Yahushua being called the son of God. It's the same as Shiloh being called the son of Jabesh. I actually went too far too quick. 1 second. And why is that? Why is that? Because I want you to see what went on here. So Jabesh is everything. Meaning this. See, Jabesh is not a person. Jabesh is not a person. That's the catch. Jabesh is an identification giving a person a geographical location. And it's primatic. Meaning it's just a destination. Meaning this. It's not being derived from the name of the father or ancestors. But the name is being given to him. And meaning what? Jabesh means in Hebrew. And this is another problem that we have. People out there saying they teach in Hebrew and they're not. They teach in Yiddish. Then they talk about, well, we speak in ancient Hebrew. You're not. You speak in nonsense. Well, we read it in this. You read in Yiddish. Because they wouldn't know what this means. But this is why they can't find it. But guess what? You guys gonna know today. Because Jabesh is just telling you about a location. That's why you can't find it in Chronicles. Because they're looking for Jabesh. And you're not gonna find it. So as people are looking for it, they see Shiloh all over the place, but then as soon as they see Jabesh, boom, it disappears. Why? We're going to find out why. Because it's a location, not a person. Which brings up the second point. The point is, so Shiloh then, so we have to find another way to find him. But I do want you to write it real pencil. I want you to write this down. I do want you to do this. I want you to do, when you're having this kind of an issue, you need to pull the next thing closest to that person that is attached to them. And we know Shiloh had a wife. So we have to track it through there. But we know that Shiloh was about something. So we got to put some work in and find out, because Shiloh conspired against the king. So how was he able to follow this through? How was he able to pull this off? Because it's the same as us today. How can we, if we sitting there and we conspiring against a person that's very prominent over a whole dominion kingdom of people, and it's just little old one person, how can you get to this king? Makes no sense. It's almost like saying a person trying to get to Obama when he was in the presidency, and you was in the little city that you was in, and you were sitting there saying, I need to conspire against him to where I'm gonna take him out. And we probably couldn't get, even when President Obama was in office, you probably couldn't get no more than probably 100 feet close to him without being vetted. So how did Shiloh, become king, and he was able to conspire against the king? Machinations. That's what he did. But one must know a lot to conspire. See, because he knew some things, he had to know some things about this king to do it. And this is the problem. So you have to go through Shiloh to understand. He's saying, and he keeps saying, the son of Jabesh. And we got to find out what this stuff means and why we won't find it in scripture. So we know that Hilkiah the priest, and Akbar, and we had Akiah, we had Hilkiah, we had Ahiam, we had Akbar, and Shaphan, and Azariah, and the main one is Huldah, key, the prophetess. We're going to ready to pinpoint Shiloh. Why? Huldah, the prophetess, the wife of Shiloh. Now the son of what? Tikva. Bingo. Not Jabesh, because we're going to find out something on Jabesh. Tikva, the son of Haras, who was the keeper of the wardrobe, and she dwelt in Jerusalem in the cottage, and they communed with her. Meaning what? Conspiracy that they wanted the king had, because they wanted what the king had. But it's a reason why it was able to pull this off. And we're going to find out a couple of things. So it's saying, and Shiloh, the son of Jabesh, conspired. The son of Jabesh. And we just seen that who he's the son of. So Jabesh actually means something else. And all the people did that. So it says, and smote him before the people and slew him and reigned in his stead. So Israel is so rampant today, and we see houses, money, people, wives, husbands, power, planes, money, dogs, you name it, we cover it over and we want it. Many times, if we cannot have it, we will even try to destroy what we can't have because of that reason. Covetousness. If we can't have it. Why? For the wicked boast of his heart's desire, and blessed the covetousness. And you bless the covetousness, whom Yahweh abhorred. You chase after your desires, and you'll boast of it, and you'll do it in ways because that's your true desire. and he hated machinations. A cycle which will eat you alive. Which will eat you alive. And in many times, this is where you're going to get defiled. Because that which cometh out of a man, that defileth the man. See, your actions is what shows what your thoughts are. And this is your defilement. It's your actions on what's doing this. It's your actions which clarifies and shows the clear conspiracy in your plan and your devices and your ploys against your brother. This is what it is. Imaginations. Imagination shows who the true essence of the person is. For from within, out of the heart of men, perceive evil. Thoughts, adulteries, fornication, murders. This is what happens. It's clear. Machinations. We do these things because we truly believe we have a right to have that. David believed he had a right to have that. And then once he had that, he sent her back. And then once she was pregnant, she said, I'm with child. He going to try to cover up his covetousness of it and going to have her husband sleep with him so he can put the baby on him. And since he didn't do it, he killed him. How many of us do this today? This is the problem, machinations. Meaning what? Thieves, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. This is what we do. I'm done. It's clear as day. This is what we do. See, I desire to make what we want in being a thief. This is just what we do. These are our problems. All these evil things come from within and defile the man. All these things come from within. These things that come from within in the thoughts of imaginations. Why? Because the imaginations kicks in because we try to plot and find ways to where we can achieve these things that somebody else have. So we're going to covet and then we're going to plot the conspiracy. We're going to plan and do devices and ploys against their brother. This is the problem. This is the problem. This is why it's so important why we have to understand what imaginations is. I'm talking, it's what's within which defiles the man. And it's right there where you sit there, man, you know it's talking about mankind. That's both of us, all of us. This is what we do. And we find ways to do it. Why? Because as it shows you, even what a Christian is, people will sit there and speak against that. It shows what a Christian is. So they're going to speak against me and others that see what the truth is. And they're going to speak against us. And all you're showing them is what it's actually saying because they want to hold on to what they believe. This is what we do. We do it. Because this is the problem that we do. Whosoever shall keep the whole law, yet offend one point is guilty of them all. They love to go to this part right here and say, this is the reason you can't keep the law. They do this. Clear. They tell you this. They tell you this. They tell you, if you do this, this is what happens. So what they do, they use the law of liberty. They pick and choose what laws they want to keep and which ones they don't. Same thing with a married man. He'll sit there and he'll believe and saying, well, we can't do this and we under grace. So, okay, so I don't covet, but I eat pork. You transgress the law. You broke 1 point, but you think you're under grace. You're guilty of them all. Why? Because your desire was to have that pork, that swine. You calling yourself keeping the laws of God, and you're coveting, and you've broken them all. See, but you remember, if ye fulfill the royal law according to the scriptures, if you fulfill them, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, ye do well. If you keep all the laws according to God, you're going to do well. You're going to do well. You're going to do things that you thought you wouldn't do. And you're going to stop doing things that you thought you used to do was okay. We have to understand what we are. Machinations. Machinations is one of the most dangerous things you ever want to deal with. Where you plot and scheme and do everything other than do that. So if it say, and if you fulfill the royal law of the scriptures, because blessed are they that do his commandments, that they have a right to the tree of life and may enter through the gates of the city. Machinations. You get all your friends out of machinations. Get them out of that. These are things that most people do not want to hold to see what is not true. And they'll sit there and they will tell you things that is not there. But I assure you that machinations kicks in. They're going to plot and scheme and want what you have. Besides sitting there seeing you with this new car, they either want to destroy the car or they want to plot and scheme and seeing how they can get you out of the car. Machinations. Hopefully that we have learned something from here, and we need to take to heart and think about what we're doing. Because we like to plot and scheme when we see, you see a brother out there where he has prospered greatly in doing whatever he's doing. He probably, same thing, what the biggest one is, you have brothers out there where they might have worked at this sport for years, and now they a professional athlete, whatever they're doing. And then you have another one of their brothers where they seen this man sacrifice all this time for what he was doing. And then they finally try to ways to, man, why he got this? How he got that? How did he get all this? But he's seen what he did. So he plot what he has. So then you have a lot of athletes, which happens all the time. So some of the athletes, so then these women, some of them be highly attractive in certain ways, and they see them. So they know that they travel quite a bit and they're doing different things, but the machinations kicked in because the little one, who is still his so-called friend, is seeing that. He sees it. So he sit there and say, man, I want what he have. I can't get his money, but I'm gonna try to get her. So he'd sit there, even drop bugs in her ear that he's doing to try to lay with her. Machinations. So hopefully we understand those things. And that's something to, it's the biggest problem that we have, that we like to covet on what other ones have. So if you say you love your neighbor as you love yourself, then you love Israel. And you will not sit there and you will not get into those ploys. So hopefully you guys got some understanding from it. I think I didn't know they had that chat open, but I will answer maybe one or two questions. Then I'm going to go in the back to where we got to take care of some things back there for class. And I need to see. Actually, I can't see from that one. They need to. So it's saying. Can you tell me if there is someone in Brazil? No, technically not. There's no one there. But what we're doing in Brazil, we're actually doing it to where we're actually making sure that majority of our videos is being translated in your language, and mainly in the Portugal, what we're actually doing. So that's what we're trying to make sure, because we have a lot of brothers down there, but I know the Catholicism is really strong down there. So all we're trying to do is to push some truth down there. And that's one thing. As far as all that, we do not have a school there or anything there. So no, but what we do have a channel for Brazil. But then what we also over at KJBU, we also making sure that all our videos is actually being closed caption, which it has your language there if you naturally speak Portuguese. And that's what we're trying to make sure of. So if you look back and you'll see where you're starting to see where it's saying closed caption, those are actually being transcribed for you. So hopefully, that'll change, but to where we can get someone there to where they can actually just speak fluently in your language all the time, because I don't speak Portuguese whatsoever. But hopefully that we can get one that's in that teaches, in that, and teaches according to precepts, and then we have them there. So hopefully that'll happen. And I do appreciate it, Brother Floyd. In Texas, no, we actually have a school online, and actually what I need you to do is, if you go to you submit all things to Elder M. Johnson. Actually, let me put that up if they got me going. Let me put Elder at and that's send your request there that you would like to be part of the class, and then we can we can take care of it from there. But then I have a Bible question, but how, who, where baptized? I really want to. I'm from Ghana. Wow. Best I can say, send me an email and I can probably help you out in another way there. Because Ghana, I actually have no plans even to go there unless my wife was sitting there going there. But right now I know that's probably not even on my wife's radar. So I don't, that's one thing. But send me an email and we'll see what we can do. Yeah. And what's the difference between precepts and cross-reference? Cross-reference is not an actual true way. Cross-reference is actually showing you theology. What they try to do, they try to find stuff that's relating to a thought pattern on what they're teaching you. That's what a cross-reference is. Precepts actually explains the verse, and then you can actually find all the verses that's tied to that same thought on what the Most High is saying. We don't try to sit there and make the Bible on what a cross-reference to do. Make the Bible say what we wanted to say. We have to understand what the Most High is saying. We have to use it according to precepts to follow what He's saying. So that's in a kind of a small nutshell on what precepts does, because precepts tells you what the truth is. It pushes everybody out the way. So the same thing is if you, and it tells you the Bible is if a precept must be upon precept. So this is the only way you can do the Bible. You cannot reference the Bible. The Bible don't say that. It don't say right. It says precepted. And you can go to Isaiah 28, chapter 28, verse 10. You can also go to Psalms 119, verse 4. You can also go over to Psalms 119 in verse 104. And through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. Why? Because precepts is direct. You're getting directly from the Most High. That's why precepts is so key. And that's why I tell you all day long, precepts is king. So that's why I do that. Design valid email address to contact you concerning your classes. Yeah, same thing. I got that email there. You can send it right there. And what we're doing some changing around, because if you haven't had a chance, I will also put that up. We please go there and start registering, because we're gonna have a lot of stuff running over there, because a lot of things is changing, and we want to make sure that you guys are still getting the truth. So that's why we actually have a lot of videos that's over there, and we're putting more over there. Yeah. And it says, Shalom out the way. Should my husband do in the case he was unable to get snipped for health reason, high blood pressure? I'm not sure. He's saying, what should my husband do in case he's unable to get snipped for health reasons, high blood pressure? I'm not really understanding really the deeper part of that, on what's going on there. But if it's for health reasons, on something he can't do in high blood pressure, I'm not sure what you're saying in that, So I really don't know the kind of outside of it. I really don't. So I wouldn't really answer that, because I don't know, what really is the dynamics that's driving everything. So I don't really want to answer, one way or the other. And I appreciate it. Which is the correct King James Bible in the Apocrypha on Amazon. Well, to be honest, Sister Johnson, to be honest with you, and to be straightforward with you, if you're going to get a King James Bible with the Apocrypha, please make sure you're picking it up and it's not coming out of the United States. I hate to say that, but that is the truth. You're picking it up out of here, and have you ever noticed to where you can't go in the store and actually buy it here? You cannot normally get a Bible with the King James Bible with a Apocrypha. You normally can't buy it because they took it out. But the best thing I would say, get it over in the UK area. But don't get it from here. You get it from here, you got about a good 90% chance it's going to be false. You have close to 150 or more King James Bibles, even the ones with the Apocrypha out there, and they're not the real ones. They change a word here and they change a word there, and they're hard to catch. So it's the same as we doing with the we come in the volume of the book, in the file that I have, we making sure you have the correct one in there. But the main thing you want to watch for, if they change one word, it can change the entire thought of the Bible, and that's why it's really important not to do that. But Amazon has them where you can order, but you can also go to Cambridge, I believe Cambridge Publishing. And you can actually go over there and you can get a King James Bible with the Apocrypha. The only thing I think is sitting over there. But it's a small Bible. It's not that big. You can use that one. You can also get the other one that Oxford has. So both of them has one. But I wouldn't buy, and I'm just telling you, I wouldn't buy it from here. If it's in the United States, I wouldn't buy it from here. And again, I'm going to address this real touchily for a minute. And it's saying, please, when is the Passover? And I'm going to tell you something, why you actually don't see the Passover, that you don't see me teaching it. And I do that for reasons. And I'm going to go ahead and share the reason, because I'm getting flooded with emails with that. And I understand the desire to do it, but what I want you to remember is this. So with everybody together, I want you to understand where I'm coming from and why I don't do that. You have many camps and everybody else, they want to do Passover. I get that. But my thing is, I cannot let you go into a false order. And that's what they're doing. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you got to remember, you look at the scriptures and you'll see where it says, not a bone of his was broken. But now, on top of that, you have to keep the lamb with you for 14 days, and then you kill it, and the lamb have to also be of a certain age. Now, you don't know how old the lamb was, the lamb that you go get. You don't know how old it was, and you had it already. You probably just went and bought it. Just said, yeah, let me have that one, and they did it, and that was it. And the lamb, I guarantee you, was probably 3, 4, 5 years old. However, if you break one bone in that lamb, it disqualifies what you did. It disqualifies what you did. If you put something through there, so that lamb has to be skinned, cleaned out, and doing exactly what it is, and then you roast it so it's tied, and then you invite families over, and then you guys are pull from it. Because if you break a rib off, if you take a leg off, if you wouldn't just got a leg, you're going to violate the Passover. So you can observe it. But if you're going to do it fully, where you want to go have a Passover meal and all that, they got a lamb on the table, I'm telling you, they violating it. Because if you break a bone, break a leg off, all you got to do is think about it. It's telling you, not a bone of the Most High, and he's showing you how to do it, was broken. So if you getting a lamb and you done broke off the leg, or you done got the lamb chops, the ribs and all, you violated it. If you just went and got a leg, you violated it. That's why I don't teach it. And I'm end up teaching one and showing people really what they need to do. But I'm asking you, do not let people fool you. They'll sit there, oh, if we're going to do this way, they're going to do this way. Tell them to show you exactly what they're doing according to Scripture. So if everybody's there at a setting, let's say all of us is together. Let's just say, example, it's 25 of us together, and we have a lamb, according to Scripture. And now we sit there and we do the lamb, roast it. We did it according to Scripture. Everything we did according to Scripture. And then once we started partaking in getting the meat, we start breaking off pieces. We just violated it. We're supposed to be stripping that, and then we do it, and then you have to stop eating it at a certain time, and then after that, it's done, it's over with. It's not like you can put it in the refrigerator, as what we like to do, and then eat on some of it tomorrow. We can't do that. Once you're done with it, it's done. Whatever's left over is done. So that's why I'm asking, observe it, but I wouldn't adhere to it. And then 2, Passover already passed. So that's the second part to it. But that's why I ask you guys. That's why I don't teach it, because I don't want a lot of people to go out there to do that, and then they get it wrong. So the main thing with me is I do know what you need to hold to, and he teaches me. But once he leads me to go ahead and push it, I will push it. I promise you that. But he has not led me to teach that. Once he led me to teach it, I will teach it. And let me see. So great lesson. Do you know? Yeah. What you want to do? Put in Cambridge. Shoot, I got an elder. He actually bought some from over there too, and I haven't been over there in a while. And I do apologize. Ah, shoots. Dang it. But I know you can put in Cambridge Publishing. I believe you can put in that, and you can probably pull them up, and they're right out of the UK. Yeah, and I see Sister Robinson saying, yes, she purchased the Bible, same thing, different. So with you guys, in there, it says, how if to work on the Sabbath? And brother, what if I have to work on the Sabbath? And you got to remember, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. 2, if your boss requires you and you have to work on the Sabbath, you work it. But you pray to the Most High, and hopefully that he'll change that man's heart to not work it. You never know what will happen. But you don't want to quit your job because you got to work on the Sabbath. So you got to remember, you're still in captivity. Nothing's changed. But the thing is, he still, most time, will make a way for you to have it. And saying the same thing, you never know what he might change. He might say, okay, well, I'm gonna give you the Saturday day off, but when I need you on Christmas, I need you to work. And you would say, I'll come with bells on. Okay, cool. You don't know what to switch, but if he making you honor that day, they're going to work. You make sure you're going to take care of your job. You don't want to be unwise about it, and don't do it. Go ahead and work it if you have to work it, but you pray to the Most High. But you let them know right up front if it's possible. You can let your boss know right there up front if it's possible. If you can get me off on this day, I worship the Most High on this day. So if all possible, they say, well, no, I need you to work this day. Don't take off. Show up. Show them. Okay, I want these days off, but you show up. You show them. Hey, I'm gonna show you. You want me here? I'm gonna show up. But you know what I desire. So anytime they sit there, you know what they desire, and that's all you want them to keep in mind. And tell you 9 times out of 10, it will work out in your favor. Not only. Yeah, so not only do we know it's supposed to be without, yeah, exactly. That's exactly, Sister Honey, she's actually saying, how do we know without spot? Because you're going to examine the lamb. It's a young baby lamb. That's why I say it's really important, and that's why I don't teach it. Because that lamb has to be with you, and I know most sisters in here, and there's got a lot of them in here. I guarantee you, most of y'all won't keep a lamb there, especially you got kids. The kids going to be them fell in love with the lamb, and I tell you a short story, and my mom them know it. And I know my mom them probably watching. And she can validate that story. And my brother validated for it. My mom them, now I can eat, and I'm still almost kind of like that today. The only one that I can watch, I can physically look at live and kill is fish. I don't have a problem with that. But the problem was when we was younger, and the same thing, why I'm putting this equating to women, because I know women is like this the same way. And what happened, my mom went and had a duck killed, but she gonna tell us it's a chicken because she wanted to see this duck. Now, my older brother, went with her. He seen her, and he seen the duck get killed. So when we all at the table, my mom and them getting ready to get dinner ready, and then we all sitting at the table getting ready to bring dinner. All of a sudden, sitting there, my brother done told us, hey, that's duck. That's all we need to know. So my mom brought it out, told us all to eat it, this and that. We ain't sitting there eating it. Then when why y'all eating it? That's duck. That's chicken. No, that's duck. How we know? My brother told us. But he seen it get killed. And if I see an animal get killed, it's a strong possibility I will not eat it. I don't know why, but I am like that. So, but with fish, I can care less. I can see fish, I catch it, pull it out, I will skin him myself and will eat him. Have no problem doing it. But then you have a lot of kids where they see the animal get killed and they play with it. 9 times out of 10, if you kill it and then you want them to eat what they had, it's gonna be almost like they have a friend, and you got probably about a 99% opportunity. If they have not been grown up in that kind of culture, they're not going to eat it. Just happens. Yeah, and we are still active in Zoom. In some of the notifications, you might have to reinstall it because Zoom was having problems. So that's probably the problem you might be having. Yeah. And because of that. Okay, now I see what you're saying. Because of high blood pressure. And the thing is, he can get a second opinion, but the main thing is you don't want to jeopardize that. But the main part of it is it's the physical on what that's doing. But the main part is his heart has to be circumcised. So if he cannot do that, the second part, the showing that's according to the covenant, to where he's fulfilling the covenant. If it's not, then we wait and he just check until the Most High make it clear. So he do that, but then what he need to do is get his blood pressure under control. And if he get it under control, the Most High make sure that happens. So that part, if it's his blood pressure that's holding him because they know some issues can happen, then don't do it. But just make sure his heart is circumcised. Meaning what? Making sure he's following everything he need to follow, not because he need to, but because he want to do the desires of the Most High. The Most High, and then the Most High gonna know his desire is that he want to be in covenant with him by showing the physical of the flesh, and then the Most High will make sure that this opportunity happens for him. And that's all you have to do. But that's the main point. So yeah, I would tell you the same thing. I would not do it until he's completely clear. And do you consider fishing? Is it work? No, it's more of a relaxation. We have people do it, but you should be resting. But some people go out there and just throw a fishing thing. So that there, you need to really take that with your own self and confidence. Because I do know some people like to go out there and play with flowers and this and that. And that might be their rest. And if this is not your profession, technically, if that is your day of rest, you still, and you're doing it for something else, you still have to watch how you're doing it, because you could be walking a fine line. So technically, I wouldn't do it. And can you accept joining camps and groups? And can you precept join? Can you precept joining camps and groups? I can tell you right now, there's no camps technically precepts right now. Just being honest, they don't precept. Basically, they got general precepts that they actually use, and they cannot go through the Bible and precept it, because you got two problems. You got precepts where you're using carnal, then you got precepts using spiritual. And a lot of times I do a lot of spiritual precepts, and I do a lot of precepts that's carnal. So I do them both. But the key is to where you need to have, in the easiest way to catch where people can actually accurately precept, they'll never walk outside the Bible. Easiest way to find out. If they sit there and say, "Ron, tell you what, this Bible right here, everything we're saying is true, and we got this letter from this man who's saying the same thing in this letter," automatically, you already know he don't know how to precept. He don't need nothing to validate the Bible, because the validation is inside the Bible. That's the catch. So you can go in other places in the Bible and validate what is said by another prophet. That's the catch. So you have many camps out there. They teach outside the Bible, but they'll tell you they know how to precept. So why they using other books? That's the key right there. And the same thing, if you see what we're doing on our Lower Coming to Value of the Book, you'll see right now we're getting a lot of Bible meanings. We're getting foundational precepts to understand what those verses are saying. So it helps you out a great deal. And I saw a goat killed as a child, and I had never had it since. It's exactly what I'm saying. It bothers you. It bothers you, and saying the same thing. I'm not afraid to say, I had that issue, but same thing. I seen a cow killed, and it was at my grandmother's house where they killed the cow, and they had some of it that night. I ain't eat none. I got food on veggies, but it's just that thing. And even as my age today, most times if I want something, I prefer to already have it prepared before I see it. Fish, I can look right at him. Do not make a difference to me. I help put him to death, but when it's an animal, I don't know. It's something I wasn't raised up in that atmosphere with. I know some people could be from the country and they can do it, and it's nothing to them. They can show that separation. So it's good for you, but it's no difference than they being able to do that. But it's just saying, they grew up around, so they grew up and they were seeing that, and they was used to seeing that. And then you see a lot of them who's able to do that, and they say, the only kind of chickens I only eat, I have to catch the chicken, wring his neck, do that. And you see their kids healthy as I don't know, because they feeding it, they doing everything, and then they can kill it. I can't do that, but everybody's different. Do you take communion? Yes. Yeah. And it's saying, see, you're giving two verses, which would give me too much, it'll take too much time. I'm I'm kind of late, so I need to go off. But actually, they give too much. But I tell you what, you can send me an email, and I actually give you the understanding of it. And what happened to the after Sabbath? Because we having a couple of issues that's going on, and we're going to actually be doing after Sabbath over at the Moab. We actually going to be doing it there, so that will be going on there. So that's why I say you can go over there and join for free. You'll be able to do a lot of things over there, but actually that's going to be over there. So that's a good place to go check out. Do it means the Passover meal scripture way? We don't have to have the means to, in captivity, we don't have to have the means to do the Passover meals the scriptural way. Yeah, some people who can do it the scriptural way, but you still have to follow exactly what he's saying, and he's not telling you to alter it. That's what he's saying. You don't alter what he's saying. Well, I know they did it this way, but we're going to do it this way. No, he tells you the exact way he wants you to do it, and he don't alter it. Go see the same thing. Psalms 89:34, he tells you. He's not altering nothing. Circumcision as a adult is painful. Ouch. Yeah, you're right. And then put it in, yes. His heart has been converted. Yeah, so good. So just tell him to keep in prayer. And I would actually keep that brother in prayer myself. And over time, you never know, but tell him to do the things that, I don't know if you have a weight issue, whatever, but see if he can do the things and making sure that he's leaving things alone. Because one of the biggest things is on what they try to make sure of is what you're eating. And he can get all that changed. You're more than welcome. Shalom, my brother. Yes, and one person saying the same thing. High blood sugar. Yeah, they actually telling you. And according to teaching today, can a wife or husband go into each other after doing the Sabbath, or is it forbidden on the Sabbath? I don't know what the problem is. People will tell you, no, we don't do it. I don't. Show it to me in scripture. Because it's not there. That's getting into legalistic. Because they're going to tell you, well, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. And the Bible don't say that. He might sit there and say, well, I'll tell you what, he wants you to rest. And one of my days rest is I'm going to have fun with my wife, or I'm going to have fun with my husband. And that is my rest. And that's part of it. Tell them to show you scripture, show you that you can't do it. Now, I guarantee they can't show it. That's where it gets into legalistic. Camps, cross-reference, not free. Yes, that's correct. And help blog. How do you know the days of the week and the month? Since we are in captivity, in the days of the week and the month, the days of the week has never changed. But they added days to the week. And I actually do a teaching on it. But they changed the days of the week. And I actually have the days of the week in the months. But then what you do want to do is make sure this. The days of the week, you have to remember, I believe it's February. You get a new moon twice. But the new moon only comes every once. But you have to remember, it's 29.5 days of the month. You have 29.5 to 30 days of the month. 29.5 to 30 days in a month. How do you know what the new month is? And I want everybody, if you want to do this, this is what I want you to do. When you see the new moon, and the new moon going to show you, it's gonna be showing high. It's gonna be like in 6 o'clock in the evening in your area, showing you it's another day. But then from that day, don't look at the calendars. And I want you to every day take your time, but you have to be studious doing it. Every day you come in and mark some piece of paper and just mark a line. Done. Next day you come in, mark a line. Watch, you're gonna get 29.5 or 30 days, and then once you see that new moon come back up again, that bright moon, not the dark moon, because the dark moon is based on Jewish theology. It's the new moon, and she decreases in her perfection. The dark moon is not something they want to, and then what they do, they teach you a lot, talking about David was in the wilderness and in the dark moon. They giving you theology. The new moon, the bright moon, he made two bright lights. One to rule the day, one to rule the night. So the new moon is the bright moon. And when you see, once they come up bright again, then that's the next month. Try it and see, and it's going to scare you after death, but because you're going to see, and it's accurate. But what they did, they added more than 20 days to the calendar year. So I even teach this. And so what happened? After 25 years, you can actually take 2 years off your age, because you're not the age that you actually think you are, because the days are added. That's why most people sitting there and they tell you we having global warming, we're doing a lot of different things. However, the months is so screwed around and they play with the days. Where you having a problem is where the summer it blended in with winter, because they have changed over the days and added to them to try to straighten it out, is what the problem is. So it gets into a lot of that, but just do what I'm asking you, and watch how you're going to see the difference. And I'm going to take 2 more, and then I'm going to go. In no sex during the Sabbath, I'm telling you again, that's all theology. Is no scripture showing that, nowhere. That's the thing. So, and it's saying that you're free to do from work. So you got to understand what they're, because that's dealing with a lot of other stuff. And my thing jumped up. I can't find it now. Yeah, somebody actually got it up there. The Gregorian calendar versus scripture. Yeah, that'd be a good thing to actually look at, because actually that's what we based on. Yeah. And sitting there saying, yeah, somebody's still trying to get somebody about the high blood pressure. Yeah, so it looked like we're pretty good. So what we're going to do, we're going to end it here. But I do, hopefully that next week that we'll be going through it. But if you have a chance, please go over there and sign up over there, because we have a lot of videos that you can actually learn over there. So with that, I'm going to tell each and every person, I appreciate it. Hopefully that you guys got some understanding. So until next week, and then I know we'll be starting on Monday as going through the Bible. We're going to continue that. So until then, I will tell each and every person that you have a good Sabbath and shalom.